Before doctors, before hospitals, before medicine had a name, a human could still get sick. A bone could break. A tooth could ache. A small cut could become dangerous. A fever could rise in the middle of the night. A child could stop eating. An elder could fall and never stand the same way. And in a world without pharmacies, without clean white rooms, without written instructions, the question becomes strangely personal. How did prehistoric humans heal themselves? What did they do when pain arrived? What did they do when the body failed? What did they do when someone they loved was too weak to walk? They had no pills, no x-rays, no antibiotics, no surgery rooms, no emergency number to call, and no one had a medical degree. Most people imagine one simple answer. They think ancient healing was only magic, only spirits, only luck, only guessing, a strange plant, a whispered ritual, a desperate hope in the dark. And yes, belief probably mattered. Ritual probably mattered. Fear probably shaped many choices. But that answer is too small. Because prehistoric humans were not modern doctors. But they were not helpless. They were not empty minds walking through the wilderness. They had eyes. They had hands. They had memory. They had fire. They had language. They had each other. And sometimes that was enough to survive one more day. That may have been the beginning of medicine. Not a miracle cure. Not a perfect system. Not science as we know it now. But a pattern. A slow pattern. A human pattern. Someone noticed pain. Someone tried to help. Someone remembered what happened next. Then someone told the story. Before medicine became a profession, it may have been a form of attention. A way of looking closely at the body. A way of asking what changed. What helped? What made it worse? What should we never do again? Alone, one human was weak. Not strong like a bear. Not fast like a deer. Not protected like a turtle. Not armed with claws. Not covered in armor. Not built to survive every wound. A single human in the wild was fragile. Skin could tear. Bones could snap. Food could poison. Cold could kill. Insects could bring disease. A wound could become swollen. A fever could steal strength. Pain could make a person helpless. But humans had one strange advantage. They could notice. They could watch. They could connect one event to another. They could see that an animal ate a bitter leaf. Later, the animal looked better. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe it was not. But a human could remember that. A group could remember it longer. A child could hear the story before ever feeling the pain. That is where healing begins to become something larger than instinct. Because instinct helps one body react. But memory helps a group prepare. Imagine a small band of prehistoric people near a fire. One person is sick. They are sweating. They are weak. They cannot gather food. They cannot protect themselves. In many species, that might be the end. The weak fall behind. The group moves on. Nature does not pause. But humans were different. Not always gentle. Not always kind. But different. A group could stay. A group could share food. A group could bring water. A group could keep the fire alive. A group could scare away animals. A group could carry someone who could not walk. That alone was powerful. Because sometimes the first medicine is not a plant. Sometimes the first medicine is time. Time for the fever to pass. Time for the bone to rest. Time for the body to fight. Time that one person could not buy alone. But a group could give it. A sick person needs rest. Water. Warmth. Food. Protection. Quiet. And another human nearby. This was care. And care was medicine before medicine. It did not cure everything. It did not stop every death. It did not understand bacteria. It did not know about viruses. It did not know what cells were. But it changed the odds. And in prehistory, changing the odds mattered. A little more warmth. A little more water. A little more rest. A little more protection. A little more memory. That could be the difference between a story that ends and a story that continues. Prehistoric healing was probably messy. It was probably full of mistakes. Some plants helped. Some plants did nothing. Some plants made things worse. Some ideas were useful. Some ideas were dangerous. Some wounds healed naturally. Some looked better because of care. Some got worse no matter what anyone did. But over many generations, tiny lessons could collect. This leaf seemed to calm the stomach. That berry made people sick. This bark tasted bitter. That clay cooled the skin. This smoke kept insects away. That water source caused illness. This way of tying a splint kept a limb still. That way made pain worse. No single person needed to discover everything. One person noticed. Another remembered. Another repeated it. Another corrected. Another taught it to a child. This is the hidden mechanism. Medicine did not begin as one brilliant invention. It began as collective learning. Small lessons passed from body to body, from elder to child, from one campfire to the next, from pain to memory, from memory to warning, from warning to survival. Think about a thorn in the foot. For a wild animal, a thorn may be a serious problem. It can slow movement. It can make hunting harder. It can invite infection. But a human has hands. A human has tools. A human has another person who can look closely. A sharp stone can remove the thorn. A clean leaf can cover the spot. A friend can help someone walk. That is not modern medicine. But it is not nothing. It is the beginning of treatment. Now think about a broken bone. A broken leg in the wild is terrifying. It means you cannot run. You cannot gather. You cannot move easily with the group. But if the group cares for you, the story changes. 2 sticks can hold the limb steady. Plant fibers can tie it in place. Others can bring food. Others can keep watch. The body still has to heal itself. But the group creates the conditions for healing. That is a deep idea. The body heals. But the group protects the healing. The body fights illness. But the group gives the body a chance. This may be one of the oldest human technologies. Not stone tools. Not fire. Not clothing. But care itself. The ability to protect a weak body long enough for it to recover. And this tells us something important about humans. We did not survive only because we were clever. We survived because we could hold knowledge outside one body. A plant recipe could live in a grandmother's memory. A warning could live in a story. A technique could live in a repeated gesture. A rule could live in the group. Do not eat that. Bring water from here. Keep the wound covered. Let the person rest. Use this leaf. Stay near the fire. Before writing, the human body was surrounded by an invisible library. A library made of voices. A library made of example. A library made of scars. Every scar could become a lesson. Every recovery could become a memory. Every mistake could become a warning. This is why language changed everything. Without language, one person learns from one experience. With language, one person can learn from someone else's pain. You do not have to eat the poisonous berry yourself. Someone can warn you. You do not have to touch the dangerous wound with dirty hands. Someone can show you a better way. You do not have to guess which plant helped last time. Someone can remember for you. Language turned experience into inheritance. Not genetic inheritance. Cultural inheritance. A child could inherit knowledge from people who were not their parents. A young hunter could learn from an elder who had survived many injuries. A mother could remember which plants helped a fever. A group could build a shared map of danger and healing. This is why prehistoric medicine was not just about the body. It was about society. Healing happened inside relationships. Inside trust. Inside memory. Inside teaching. Inside the decision to keep someone alive even when they could not help the group that day. That decision may have been costly. An injured person needs food. A sick person slows travel. A weak person needs protection. Caring takes energy. It takes time. It takes risk. So why do it? Because humans did not live as isolated machines. They lived in networks. The child who is cared for today may grow into an adult who cares for others. The elder who cannot hunt may still remember plants, seasons, rots, and dangers. The injured person may recover and return to the group. Care is not just kindness. Care can be survival strategy. It keeps knowledge alive. It keeps relationships strong. It keeps the group from losing people too quickly. And it creates trust. Trust is invisible, but it is one of the strongest forces in human history. If I know you will help me when I fall, I can take risks beside you. If I know you will share food when I'm sick, I can share food when you are hungry. If I know the group will not abandon me instantly, I can belong more deeply. That belonging changes behavior. It makes cooperation possible. And cooperation made humans powerful. One person is weak. Many people are dangerous to predators. One person forgets. Many people remember. One person panics. Many people can stay calm. One person suffers alone. Many people can carry someone home. That changed everything. Now we should be careful. We should not imagine prehistoric humans as perfect healers. They did not always know what worked. They did not always separate medicine from ritual. They could misread signs. They could trust the wrong plant. They could believe a sickness came from angered spirits. They could use treatments that did not help. But even that tells us something human. When people do not understand pain, they still try to give it meaning. A ritual may not cure an infection, but it can calm fear. A song may not repair a bone, but it can hold a group together. A healer may not know anatomy, but they may know how to comfort. In a dangerous world, comfort itself mattered. Fear can break people. Pain can isolate people. A ritual can say, "You are not alone." A group gathered around a sick person can say, "We are still here." That message is not a modern drug, but it is not meaningless. Healing has always been partly physical and partly social. Even today, medicine is not only chemistry. It is also attention. A patient explains pain. A doctor listens. A nurse checks signs. A family waits. A record is kept. A result is shared. The tools changed. The pattern stayed. Notice the problem. Test an answer. Remember the result. Share it with others. That pattern is ancient, and we still live inside it. Modern medicine looks very different from prehistoric healing. White rooms, bright screens, sterile gloves, tiny pills, scans, charts, laboratories, textbooks, ambulances, hospitals filled with machines. But underneath all of that is the same old human pattern. Someone is in pain. Someone notices. Someone tries to help. Someone records what worked. Someone teaches the next person. The hospital is a giant version of the campfire. The medical textbook is a giant version of the elder's memory. The pharmacy is a giant version of the plant shelf. The emergency room is a giant version of the group rushing toward the injured. The scientific paper is a giant version of the story passed on. Of course, modern science is far more accurate. It tests carefully. It measures. It repeats. It rejects bad ideas. It separates evidence from wishful thinking. That is a huge leap. But the emotional center is ancient. A person hurts. Another person comes closer. That may be the oldest shape of medicine. And once you see it, the story of human healing becomes bigger than herbs or bones or tools. It becomes a story about what kind of animal humans are. We are animals that notice suffering. We are animals that remember. We are animals that teach. We are animals that build systems around weakness. That last part is strange, because nature often hides weakness. A weak animal is vulnerable. A wounded animal is a target. But humans built groups where weakness could be protected. Not always. Not perfectly. But often enough to matter. A child is weak for many years. An elder may walk slowly. A sick person may need days of care. A mother may need help. An injured hunter may need to rest. Human life depends on long periods of dependence. So humans became experts at shared survival. We survived not by never breaking. We survived by learning what to do when someone broke. That is why the history of medicine is not only the history of cures. It is the history of attention, the history of memory, the history of people refusing to let pain disappear in silence. Imagine one prehistoric night. The air is cold. The fire is low. Someone is lying near the flames, shaking with fever. No one knows the word infection. No one knows the word immune system. No one knows the names of organs. But someone brings water. Someone adds wood to the fire. Someone washes the breathing. Someone keeps insects away. Someone remembers a bitter plant. Someone tells a child to stay back. Someone waits. Maybe the person lives. Maybe the person dies. But either way, the group learns. They remember the signs. They remember the plant. They remember the water. They remember the timing. They remember the fear. And if the person lives, the story becomes powerful. Last time we did this. Last time this helped. Last time we stayed. That is how knowledge grows before books. Not in perfect straight lines, but in fragments. A little truth here, a mistake there, a useful pattern repeated, a dangerous idea slowly abandoned, a memory saved because someone survived. Over thousands of years, these fragments became traditions. Some traditions were practical. Some were symbolic. Some were both. A plant could be useful and sacred. A healer could be observer and storyteller. A ritual could calm the group, while a practical treatment gave the body time. In the ancient world, the line between medicine, belief, and community was not always clear. And maybe that is not surprising. When you do not know what is happening inside the body, the invisible feels powerful. Fever is invisible. Pain is invisible. Infection is invisible. Fear is invisible. Recovery is mysterious. So humans explained invisible forces with the tools they had. Stories, symbols, spirits, patterns. But alongside the stories, they also watched the real world. They noticed which plants changed the body. They noticed which wounds needed covering. They noticed that rest mattered. They noticed that dirty water could be dangerous. They noticed that warmth could save a cold body. They noticed that broken limbs needed stillness. They noticed that a person alone was less likely to survive. This mixture is what makes prehistoric healing so human. Part observation, part memory, part trial and error, part belief, part comfort, part social care. It was not modern medicine, but it was the root system beneath modern medicine. A root system is hidden. You do not always see it, but it holds the tree. The hospital did not appear from nowhere. It grew from the human habit of caring for the sick. The laboratory did not appear from nowhere. It grew from the human habit of asking, what really works? The medical record did not appear from nowhere. It grew from the human habit of remembering. The doctor did not appear from nowhere. The doctor grew from the healer, the elder, the observer, the person who noticed patterns when others were afraid. So when we ask, how did prehistoric humans heal themselves? The answer is not just, they used plants. It is not just, they used fire. It is not just, they used tools. It is not just, they believed in spirits. The deeper answer is this. They turned survival into shared knowledge. They turned pain into memory. They turned memory into teaching. They turned teaching into culture. And culture gave the body a better chance. This is why humans became so different. Not because we never suffered. We suffered constantly. Not because we understood everything. We understood very little. Not because we were always right. We were wrong many times. But we could learn together. And learning together is one of the most powerful healing tools humans ever discovered. A plant dies with the season. A body dies with age. A memory can die with one person. But a shared memory can outlive everyone. It can cross generations. It can move with a tribe. It can survive in stories. It can become a custom. It can become a rule. It can become medicine. And thousands of years later, it can become science. So how did prehistoric humans heal? Not perfectly. Not magically. not with the knowledge we have now. They healed with attention. They healed with trial and error. They healed with plants, fire, water, rest, tools, and touch. They healed with stories. They healed with warning. They healed with trust. They healed by washing the body and washing each other. Most of all, they healed together. And maybe that is the part we should remember. Because before medicine was a system, it was a relationship. Before it was a science, it was a promise. Before it was written in books, it was spoken beside a fire. One human in pain, another human staying close. The first medicine may not have been a cure. It may not have been a plant. It may not have been a tool. It may have been the moment humans decided that weakness did not always mean abandonment. The moment someone looked at the sick, the injured, the frightened, and chose to stay. That quiet decision changed our species. And in a way, every hospital, every clinic, every medicine cabinet, and every hand held beside a bed still carries a trace of that first fire. The first medicine may have been the moment humans decided not to leave each other behind.